All right, everyone. On this episode, we have a very special guest. We have Lester G.Reynolds, actor and Hollywood stuntman, all the way from Alamogordo, New Mexico. Welcome, Lester.
Thank you for having me, Josh. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
man. Yeah, wow, I was going over your IMDb. Very impressive. Especially one of the things that stood out to me was Nip Tuck. I'm like,
Yeah.
man. And I saw that, I was like, bro, you were on Nip Tuck. That's so cool. But before we get into all that, I actually want to get to know you. So, where are you from?
Well, I'm originally from Kingsport, Tennessee, born
Really?
and
Okay.
raised, but I currently live in Alamogordo. Been in Alamogordo for about 6 years now, but
Okay.
been a resident of New Mexico for about 10 years.
Oh, nice. Okay. I like New Mexico. I actually used to live in Albuquerque for about 5 months. Yeah, it was just a little bit, but I just love everything about New Mexico, land of the enchantment. So much beauty and just culture and history. So
Well, there's a lot going on here for sure.
there is.
Definitely in our craft and
Mhm.
especially in the world of film and TV, definitely things happening that weren't here at once upon a time. So
Yeah,
it's exciting times for sure.
it is. And yes, and you're right. There's so much going on in New Mexico with filming. I know Las Cruces is definitely growing in that area. Santa Fe, Albuquerque has Netflix. So yeah, there's so much going on. So what made you want to move to Alamogordo?
Family. Uh,
Family.
we,
Okay.
yeah, we actually we were living in LA. We lived in LA for about 7 years, and that's where I got my start.
Really?
Uh,
Like,
yeah, I actually started in 2005. I've always been interested in the arts. Kind of runs in my family.
oh, it
Uh,
does.
oh
Okay.
yeah, my family bloodline. I'm actually cousin of June Carter Cash. So it's
Oh, are you?
Johnny Cash's wife. Yeah.
Wow,
So
that's
we
so
are
cool.
we're very closely related. So, you know, the creative arts has always been in me, music, anything,
Mhm.
stage plays, all that stuff. But
Nice.
2005, I wound up in LA and just went out there and I was like, you know what, I'm going to do it. And so I literally hit the pavement, dude. I
Mhm.
didn't have much money to my name. I was kind of homeless when I
Really?
first got there. Yeah, I had to figure it all out and
Mm.
wound up
You got
doing
to LA, right? Is that what you're saying?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I wound up in LA and
Wow.
so anyway, I wound up doing I started out as a TV and background, extra, just a background artist. And
Really? An extra, huh?
so I wound up on a lot of TV shows, a lot of student films. You name it, I did it. Anything just to get the experience. Caught the attention of some pretty big names along the way, and wound up getting mentorships, and they kind of
Yeah.
helped direct my path, and it just kind of all culminated to where it's at now.
That's incredible. And what drove you to want to do that? Is it because you said it runs in the family, but I mean like,
A lot of it does, but the thing is, it's kind of crazy because when I was 7 years old, I always knew that I was different.
oh, okay.
And then growing up, and you become an adult and you have a family and then you have responsibilities.
Right.
Well, then no matter what job you have, you're always looking to get a better job because you think more money means a better life, for you and your family.
Mm.
And so I was always getting the better jobs. But no matter how much money I made, I wasn't happy.
Oh,
And so I was like, what's wrong? What's going on? I'm
right.
following this path, I'm making the money, but I'm not happy. So something's wrong here. And it just wasn't fulfilling. You know what I mean? I always felt like there was something else.
Mhm.
And so, you know, when I was watching the movies and, on the early DVDs, they had a lot of behind the scenes that showed you the making of the films. And
That's right. I love that. Yeah.
I was like, man, that's it. That's what I want to do. But I was like, how do I do it?
Yeah.
So it was funny because I actually called Coca-Cola when I was 18 years old.
Oh, no way.
I
Okay.
did. I called Coca-Cola. I called the main headquarters and I said, how do I get in your commercials? And the lady was like, you want to do commercials? And I was like, yeah. I said, how do I get in your commercials for Coca-Cola?
Yeah.
And she said, well, you have to be in the union. And I was like, well, what's the union? So I didn't know anything about it, dude.
Okay.
I just knew that, I wanted to do something.
Hmm.
And so, it's like it's crazy because I tell people all the time, whenever something is meant for you, it
Hmm.
has a way of finding you. And
Hmm.
the universe has a way of revealing your purpose and your path to you, when the time is right. And so it's just a series of little things that add up, and people think it's this magical, one day, poof, you're this big thing and it happens overnight,
Right.
but it
No.
does not. Nobody sees the progression. It's
Mm.
like an iceberg. You see what's sticking up above the water, but you
Mhm.
don't see what's down below.
You don't see the foundation on that.
You
Yeah.
do not, my friend. So, it's always been in me, and it just took me a while for us to find one another, but it's become a beautiful marriage.
Wow. That's awesome. And so going back to Coca-Cola, did you ever end up in a commercial?
I did not, but I tell you what it did do. It made me aware of the different unions, that are out there for performers.
Hmm.
Uh, and so it put that awareness in me when I was 18. Now,
Okay.
mind you, I didn't get to LA until I was in my early 30s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So had I not known about these performers unions and the necessary progressions, and in other words, it all started to make sense
Right.
once I got to LA and was introduced to the industry,
Okay.
because then I was speaking the language.
Mm.
And it wasn't just, saying something because it sounded good. I was actually learning the ins and outs
Mm.
and what I needed to do to be able to make the progression. Now,
Yeah.
you know, there are there are paths, and there are, in today's creative market, it's crazy because a lot of people think you have to be part of those creative unions in
Mm.
order to be able to work. And that's not true. I mean, there's so many great independent films
Mm.
and, films that are out there that are not, union projects.
Okay.
And so it's changed,
Yeah.
and it's just an incredible place to be. And I mean, I love every aspect of it.
Yeah. And it seems like you do. I want to go back to what you said about, your, I guess what you were meant to do on this earth, your passion, your dream. Uh, and I strongly believe that. I feel like there's gonna be a time where you do come across like that in your life where you feel not fulfilled, you feel something's missing, and like you said, that it's gonna come to you, and then it's up to you to decide to take that chance to pursue it or continue the other path. So, and that's why I like doing this podcast because it is about your story, and I love the fact that you're sharing it because it's saying, hey, everyone has a story, and it's not always an easy journey to get there, and it
It's
wasn't.
not.
So,
No.
yeah,
And everyone has a different path,
that's right.
And I
Yeah,
mean, the thing is, I tell people that all the time.
yeah,
You know, People are like, well, what worked for you? And I'm like, well, I'll tell you what worked for me, but just because it worked for me doesn't mean that it's your path.
yeah. Right.
The destination winds up being the same destination, but we all tend to get there, different ways.
That's right. Yeah,
But
everyone.
it all also comes down to those relationships.
Mm,
You build relationships along the way. So those are instrumental as well.
yeah, man, Lester, you were just hungry from the start at 18, huh? You were just like, I'm hungry for this. I'm
Well,
ready.
the thing is, Josh, I'll tell you, we only live once.
That's
And the
right.
thing is, we only have a certain amount of days on this earth.
Hmm.
So the amount of time that you spend not doing what you love is time wasted, in my opinion.
Mm. Yeah,
And
most
that's the truth.
no, it is truth, yeah. And that's the one thing I've heard real quick on I forgot the motivational speaker. I think it was Les Brown. I don't know, are you familiar with him? Les Brown?
Haven't heard of him.
He's a motivational speaker, but he mentioned something. He's like, what is the richest place on earth? And he asks everyone that, and they were saying different responses. And he says, to me, I feel like the richest place on earth is the graveyard because there were so many goals, dreams, new inventions, new this, new that that was never discovered yet because they were letting fear hold them back and they didn't have that amount of time to pursue it. And they could have been the next CEO of this company. They could have been the next big thing that happened, but they didn't let it because people put them down. They weren't believing in them. They didn't have belief in themselves. and all those graves of some dreams that weren't fulfilled, or the next big project, the next big role, the next big this. And I was like, wow, it's true. Like you said, we don't have a lot of time.
We don't, and the thing is that, it's kind of crazy that you say that because when it definitely puts life in perspective.
It
And a
does.
lot of times people exert a lot of energy on things that don't matter.
Mm,
And we focus on things that we truly can't control.
right.
Um, my wife introduced me to this thing not too long ago, and it's called the circle of control. And so there's literally a circle, and within that circle, there are things that we can control, which we can change. We can control the way we respond to certain things in life. We
Mhm,
can respond, we can control our attitude. We can control the choices that we make.
mhm.
Um, but there are other outside influencers and things that we can't control.
Right.
So
Yeah.
the thing is, I guess the key to happiness is understanding what you can control and what you can manipulate and letting go of all the crap that you can't.
Mm. Yep. Very well said. That's true. Very true. I do want to get into now because I know we don't have a whole lot of time on,
Copy.
but I want to go into now. What was your first start on the actual like major motion picture? What was your first breakthrough?
Well, one of my very first big uh, memories that
Mm.
I still cherish to this day is I was working out in Hollywood and I was on a TV show called All of Us. And I was just there as a background artist. I was there as an extra. And so I don't know if you're familiar with that show, but it's Will Smith's TV show, or it was back in the day
Really? All of
with
us?
the, yeah,
Okay.
All of Us with NBC Universal. It's loosely based on his life.
Oh,
And
wow.
so,
Okay.
long story short, he was directing an episode. I had been on the show once before on a
Okay.
prior episode. So I was asked to come back. And so, long story short, they put me in an establishing shot, meaning they needed me to come back the following day.
Hmm.
And so, Alfonso Ribeiro, he
Oh, yeah.
played Carlton. So he
Hmm.
comes to me and he says, Lester, can you come back tomorrow? And I was like, sure, I'll come back tomorrow. So, came back the next day, and lo and behold, Will was directing the episode. And
Oh, that's
so
cool.
I
Very.
brought a thank you card with me. And so Alfonso said, look, you need anything, you let me know. So I gave him the card and I said, can you do me a favor and give this to Will? And so he did. So long story short, I'm sitting there right before we go to lunch. Will comes over and actually approaches me and we have a wonderful conversation.
Wow.
I wound up having lunch with Will. I wound up literally having a conversation with him,
Oh,
and
wow.
he put me in touch with his people, and they mentored me for over a year.
Wow.
And so there's a lot of things that happened that day because he featured me very heavily in that episode. So that was my one of my first major breakthroughs in
Wow.
episodic TV and in the industry. Now,
That's awesome, man.
if
Awesome.
we fast forward,
Yeah.
one of the things that literally just recently happened
Mhm.
that I feel is a major break is a film that I was recently in. We did it back in October. The name of the film is And Still Smiling. It's based
And
on a true story.
okay.
Um, and I was cast as one of the main, well, the main antagonist, and
Oh,
I'm part of an all-star cast. I play a hitman.
oh wow. Okay.
And so my castmates are Billy Zane from
Oh,
Titanic.
really? Okay.
Yeah. So Billy Zane is the detective that's trying to stop me.
Nice.
Peter Facinelli from Twilight.
Oh,
He
okay.
plays the abusive husband who hired me to carry out said deed. And then Shane West is the boyfriend of, the
Oh,
now
that's right. Of
ex-wife.
Walk to Remember. Oh, that
Yes.
that is a cool cast. I like
And
that.
then Shiva Nagar, she's on the cleaning lady right now. And then Shora Agashladoo,
Mm.
she's on the Penguin.
Okay.
So I am right in the middle of
And
all of these A-list people, and I am co-starring with these folks.
that's
And
awesome.
I got to do all my own stunts. And so this film, it'll probably come out late this year.
Okay.
Uh, but that is my first major break as part of an all-star cast.
That's
So
awesome.
that happened for me just late this last year.
Last
And
year? Yeah.
that's Josh, I've been doing this for 20 years. It's
Man.
taken me this long. Like I said, it's little pieces here
Yeah,
and there.
right.
And, it all leads to these things. So these are the two biggest ones recently, anyway, that I've been able to do that just I think is going to make a huge difference.
Oh yeah. And it's coming out in theaters, you said this year or next year?
I don't know. I know we did it in October this past year.
Okay.
Under normal circumstances, it typically takes about a year for things to come to fruition.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
you got to look, there's a lot going on in LA right now with all the devastation. I don't know how it's going to affect production schedule. I don't know. But so, fingers crossed, maybe late this year. But if not, it'll probably be the earlier part of the following year. But at some point in time, it's coming.
All right. Well, I'll keep an eye on that. I'd like to go see it, especially with that all-star cast and you in it as well. That's awesome.
Dude, it's incredible. It's a
Uh,
great film.
oh, I bet. I want to get to your stunt. I know you said you do a lot of stunt work as well. So what made you go into that side of acting and being that involved?
Well, the reason that I did, I'm 11 years military.
Oh, you are. Okay.
Yeah, and so I have a lot of that stuff already in my background, weapons expertise, hand-to-hand combat, it's just kind of been beaten into me and it's just kind of who I am. And so the thing is, one of the things that I noticed is as being an actor, a lot of times, some of the roles require you to do like light stuff anyway.
Oh,
And
okay.
so I was like, you know what? I want to do that. I was like, I want to just do all my own stuff,
Yeah.
to the degree that I can, because, some of it is very physically challenging, but um, it's just fun. I
Yeah,
mean, it really is. It's just freaking fun, dude.
I bet,
And,
man.
and so, you get to do things, that other people are either afraid to do or just don't want to do or for whatever reason. But
Yeah.
it just makes the filmmaking process easier, especially in post-production. If you're doing your own thing, they don't have to then go in and do CGI and superimpose
All
your
right.
face on someone else's body. And
Right. Yeah.
you're already doing it. So it's the funnest thing ever, man.
That is cool. And now going to some of your films, well, I'm gonna just go ahead and talk about my favorite Nip Tuck. How did you land that? I mean, I remember once watching that on FX, and it was FX, right? When it was
Yeah.
yeah. I love that show. So I take it you met the all stars from the show?
I did, but I will tell you I did not have a speaking role on that show. It
Oh,
was it was a background. And
oh,
so the thing is, when I came in, they they always it seems like they always have people they pick out that they like your look or whatever, and then
okay,
you get featured. And so you wind up there among the cast, but you don't really say much. You don't say anything, and
okay,
sometimes, but you are seen with them. And that was the case with Nip Tuck.
okay.
So, I don't have a speaking role on that show. And so I don't want to mislead anyone by any means, but
All
yeah,
right.
definitely I was there. I got to be part of it and I'm seen.
Mhm.
Um, there were other shows that same thing happened. I was on What About Brian?
Yeah, I remember that
Uh,
show too. What about Brian?
yeah,
Yeah.
I was an inmate on that one. I
Okay.
actually wound up on what else was I in? Oh yeah, I
Bernie,
did
Bernie
E-Ring.
Mac show.
Huh?
The Bernie Mac show.
Yeah, I was on Bernie Mac. I did E-Ring with Dennis Hopper and Benjamin Bratt, and so they had me in that one as a Pentagon police officer. So I'm
Oh, nice.
heavily featured in that one. I was on How I Met Your Mother, and I
Right.
actually have a scene with Josh Radner.
Oh
We're
yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
we're not saying anything, but it's kind of
Yeah.
all nonverbal, and it's just really funny at the opening of uh, the episode Platinum Rule. It's where he gets the tattoo on his back called the tramp stamp, and he goes to have it removed. And I'm
Oh,
sitting in the dermatologist's office with all my tats. And
wow, that's funny. And also you were on some CSI shows, right?
yeah, I did a couple of the CSI episodes. I was on numbers for like 8 episodes.
Oh, you were on numbers? Oh, that's
I
cool.
did 22 episodes of Ugly Betty, the
Oh, you
first season.
did. Oh,
Mhm. Yeah.
okay.
So I've done quite a few things, but as far as film and speaking roles, I have some pretty big things that I've recently done, and those are actual speaking roles. I just finished a film with Forrest Goodluck, and the name of the film is called Alien Boy. and I'm his lead actor in that film. And Forrest Goodluck was Leonardo DiCaprio's son in The Revenant.
Oh, is that right? Okay. I
Yeah.
remember that movie. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and so I just worked with him,
okay.
and we just wrapped a film we shot in Albuquerque. I did another film here in Alamogordo
Oh, you
with
did. Okay.
with Anthony Padone. It's called Sky Valley,
Oh, wow.
and so it's with him and Morningstar Angeline was his lead actress in that one, and so I was able to come in. I made some contributions to the film, and then of course they also allowed me to be in a few of the scenes with Morningstar and some of the key cast members. And so I'm not sure when that film will come out, but like I say, it normally takes about a year for them to bring them to fruition.
Yeah. And when you were in Albuquerque, did you work with Netflix?
I have not done anything at this point with Netflix.
Okay.
And so the thing is right now, I currently represent myself.
Okay.
I don't have talent representation or anything like that. So everything that I'm finding on my own.
Wow, that's
Um,
impressive.
I
Very
mean, dude, it's just hustle. It's grinding. It's relationships. It's,
cool.
anytime there's an opportunity comes up, I mean, and doing stuff like this with you, this is what gets the word out.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm in a film called Three. We did that one this last year. It stars Eric Roberts, and I
Oh,
have a
wow.
nice
Okay.
little cameo in that one. And
Oh,
it's actually premiering at the Las Cruces International Film Festival. So I'm going to be seen in that one
oh,
uh,
wow.
next month.
Nice. So, when is the dates for this, for the International Film Festival?
I am not sure. And so
Okay.
for me to say
Okay.
anything right now, it would be misinformation because I don't have that in front of me.
Okay.
But I'm thinking it's March or April, but I'm not sure the dates.
Okay.
Um, but I'm always looking, I'm always looking for the next role. I'm always looking for the next opportunity
Right.
to be able to contribute and, bring some type of bankability to what I'm doing.
Of
Uh,
course. And so do
they
you
say
like go through like how do you search for this? How do you look? Do you go on IMDb and just look who made?
no, believe it or well, some things I've found on the IMDb, but to be honest with you, I've never booked anything through IMDb.
Okay.
Most of the time, I use a website called Actors Access. I don't know if
Oh,
you're familiar with it or not, but it's actorsaccess.com.
okay.
And you go in there, it's kind of the industry Bible. Everybody uses it to include talent agents, but there's an agency side and there's a public side.
Okay.
You go in, you create a profile, and then you can search different regions and things of that nature, and you'll be able to see. And there's everything up there. Everything from student films to commercials to voiceovers. I mean, you name it, it's there.
Oh,
So I
cool.
use that site. I also use New Mexico Film
Okay.
Office.com.
Hmm.
So I go to their website, they post things as well. And so does there's another website in Albuquerque. And then of course just relationships. People call me up, say, "Hey, I got this going on. You want to be part of it? I got a role for you." So I'm like, "Sure."
Oh, cool. Wow. Too bad. Oh, it's too bad. And with Breaking Bad, were you ever getting anything in?
I did not get anything for that.
Okay.
I have recently gotten involved with the local film liaison here in Alamogordo.
Okay.
And so I go over to the Chamber of Commerce a lot. I've also, I'm a mentor, so I mentor a lot of up and coming talent. I just try to, share my knowledge, share my expertise, be able to give guidance where I can because, I didn't have that. And so, a lot of people, they don't share information like that. They feel that if, they tell you something, it's somehow taken away an opportunity for them. And I don't believe in that. No one has ever lost an opportunity themselves by helping someone else. And it's just stupid mentality. You know, we uh, we get ahead in this life by helping other people. And, what we have inside of us, it was given to us.
Right.
So, for me, I like to try to share what knowledge that I have because, I mean, you never know when you're helping someone else,
That's right.
you're helping them fulfill their purpose. You understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
So
yeah. That's awesome.
it's, yeah, so that's what I'm trying to do now. And so, this is all I do. This is my full-time job. I don't have a plan B. I don't have a side job. My acting is my full-time gig.
And because of that, you're more fulfilled and you're happier than what you told me in the beginning.
Yep. And most of the time, dude, it don't pay a lot. It don't. But the thing is, if you're doing it for the money, you're doing it for the wrong reason.
Mm. That's true. Yeah. Well, it seems like you're very happy about it from the photos I've seen of you on your Instagram and like this guy really has an expression of just like I'm loving what I'm doing and that's what it's all about, just doing what you love. So,
Well, Josh, I'll tell you, when I was 28 years old, I was working a construction job. I used to do demolitions work.
wow,
So
is that
I
right?
built highways. So I set dynamite for a living, basically. And so, long story short, one day I got assaulted on my job. I wound up with a broken neck,
What?
C6 and 7. I have a scar right here on my neck. I don't know
Wow.
if you can see it or pick it up, but
Uh,
it's kind of like,
he's a little
yeah.
bit. Oh yeah, I do see a little bit of that. Yep. Wow.
So they went in. I was 28 years old, laying on my deathbed. The
Oh,
doctor told me that I had 95% chance of dying during the procedure.
what?
My
95?
spinal cord, yeah,
Oh my
my
God.
spinal cord was almost completely severed.
Wow.
So I'm laying there, dude. They're getting ready to take me into surgery because they have to do emergency surgery.
Wow.
And he had given me two choices, either emergency surgery or he could just give me something and make me comfortable and let me go.
Damn.
I wasn't about to end my life that way.
Wow.
So, of course, we did the surgery. They put a bone in my neck from a cadaver. I had to learn to walk again. I had to learn to talk again. And by the grace of God, I am still here.
Are you serious right now? You
But
had
dude,
to learn to talk.
when you're laying there on your deathbed, you think about everything you did not do in your life,
Oh,
just like that graveyard you talked about at the beginning of our session.
yeah.
You think about everything.
Wow.
You don't even know that if you come through this, that you're even because they told me I was probably going to be paralyzed. I was never going to have the IQ over an eighth grade education. And I was like, that's not going to be my end. I refuse to let my life end like this.
Mm,
And so all I could do was pray. And the only thing that I could do was pray. And I made, man, so many deals with God, it wasn't funny. I was like, you get me up off this bed, give me another chance. I swear I will never squander another opportunity.
mm.
And I have held dear to that promise because August this year, I am 55 years old, man.
Awesome.
And by the grace of God, I am alive.
Yeah. Amen to that, brother. That's awesome. What a great story. Man, I gotta say that I was not expecting something like that. That just moved me so much just to think you were at the close of just the end of your life. Wow, Lester. I hope a lot of people know about your story on that.
They will now.
Yo, they
Thank
will
you.
now, yeah, but they're like, God, that's like a big, huge inspiration. Just like, you're at your point of losing life to regain your life and loving what you're doing. You got a second chance.
The thing is, what I will tell you, and I've said this to my wife, I don't know how many times. The thing that it made me think of, and even now as I'm older in life, what is it that I am supposed to do
Mm,
that is so incredible
hmm
that the enemy is trying to keep me from doing it,
mm,
even to the point of trying to take my life? And
wow.
so the thing is, I know one of these days I'm going to be on a larger platform. One day I'm going to be up there on that stage accepting Academy Awards and things of that nature because that's coming. That's where I see myself.
Hmm
And so, we are the masters of our own fate. And so when I'm able to stand on those platforms and I'm able to share my story of inspiration to others, I mean, that's what it's all about because
Yeah,
at the end of life, we just want to know that it meant something.
yeah, I totally agree. And I do want the best for you in getting that Academy Award as well, sir. So,
Well,
yeah,
the award is just an award, dude. The thing is, what I try to do along the way is just inspire people everywhere that I go.
it's
I
awesome.
try to be an example to other people, and I try to just, leave it all on the field, as they say. And so that's the beautiful thing about what we do.
Hmm
And for a while, we all go through progressions, if you will, and we go through periods of maturing. And so it was crazy because, I was doing all these auditions like 3 years ago, and I was like not getting a lot of callbacks. And I was like, I would watch my audition tapes and I would be like, okay, what could I do different? What am I missing?
Mm.
And so I just kept trying to hone everything and get better and better. And so one day I had an opportunity, and about 3, 4 years ago, I worked on a film that was filmed in Cruces called Hot Seat.
Okay.
Now, I didn't have a speaking role in that film or anything, but I got called up and they asked me to be a stand-in. And
Okay.
so at the time I was focusing on my acting career, and
Mm.
stand-in and background work is kind of goes hand in hand. So
Mhm.
long story short, they wound up, I told them, I said, look, if you can't find someone, call me back.
Mm.
So they did. They called me back like 2 minutes, dude.
Wow, that quick, huh?
Yeah, that quick. And so they called me up and they was like, look, we really need someone experienced, a veteran, to be a stand-in. I'm not supposed to tell you who it's for, but it's for Mel Gibson. Will you do it?
Oh, no way.
And
Okay.
I said, yes, I'll do it. So I went and I worked with Mel for a week. And I'm
Uh,
going to tell you something, Josh. Watching this man work gave me the missing pieces to my puzzle
oh, it did.
because
Okay.
he is an Academy Award winner already. And
Hmm.
I'm sitting here and I'm doing everything he's doing and I am watching him work.
Mm.
And it just clicked.
Mm.
And so I just tweaked just very little what I was doing with my auditions, dude. And it
Wow.
was just like, it was a game changer.
Wow.
And so to be able to work with these people, they say iron sharpens iron.
That's
You
right.
know,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
it's an exchange. It's
That's right.
like what me and you are doing right now. We
Mm.
both are going to walk away from this better
Mm.
simply because we're taking something from one another.
That's true because I actually was having a hard time last night. I'm going through some personal stuff and um I mean it's just part of life. But man, after this interview, Lester, I gotta say I'm just recharged, reset. Thanks to God that He brought you on my path for this because yeah, I mean, yeah, we're human. We got to feel. So I was feeling last night just what I was going through. But man, right now it's like, get to work, brother. You don't have all time in the world. So
Well, I'm going to tell you this. You have my info.
that's right, brother. I do.
You
Yeah.
have a brother. And so, you know, I'm here for you.
Well,
You
thank you,
need
Lester.
anything, you reach
Thank
out.
you. No, I really do. I appreciate that. Yeah. It was a mix of different things. Real quick before we end, I went through a breakup 2 months ago. I'm still dealing with it kind of hard. And then just the fact that, yeah, I'm kind of at the point of like, well, what's my passion? What am I supposed to be really doing? And I remember I asked my ex on this, about like the podcast, and I said, am I really reaching people with this? Am I really making a difference? Because all I have is 82 subscribers and I've been doing this for a little over a year. And she's like, well, why do you like doing it? And I was like, because I love hearing someone's story. It does something for me. I learn so much from every episode I do that it's like it moves me. And I want someone to be moved just the way I feel. And then she just like, well, there's your answer. And that's what I've been
Yep.
holding on to because yes, I don't have 10,000 listeners or 15 or more. And, I only have 82, but it's not going to stop. But this episode today definitely moved me to a point. I'm like, this is why I love doing what I'm doing because of you
Well,
also and everyone else. So
I'm going
thank
to tell you something, and this is what you got to look at, Josh. If you reach one person,
you.
one, it's worth it.
Yeah, that's right.
82, one, 82 million, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. If you're in an empty auditorium and you're doing a sound check for music, you sing as if though that auditorium is full.
It is. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Mm.
you don't change
That's
nothing.
well said.
You do it like your life depends on it
Mm.
every time.
And amen to that. And I'm so grateful God kept you alive just to be that light to a lot of people. So.
Well, I thank you for having me on, man. I really do. And hopefully some of the things that we discussed, because, even though they told me I would never have the IQ over an eighth grade education, I now hold 3 college degrees.
Oh my God, that's insane.
And I rehabilitated myself. Of course, my first marriage didn't work. We didn't wind up staying together. I was there for 10 years,
Okay.
10 years and 2 children, but that one did not work. And so my second marriage now, we've been together now for 20 years, and
Oh,
have,
congratulations. Oh, awesome.
have 2 boys. And so this right here, man, if you find something you love doing, you'll never work a day in your life.
There
That's
you
the truth.
go. That is the truth. Yeah, and I can't wait for that to make this my
Well,
full time. Other
I
things.
think you're already there.
Yeah, I'm hoping my brother's a filmmaker as well. He's in LA and he's doing projects on the short films as well. He's won some awards. But him and I'm all send one to you. You can watch. It's like 15. It's like I'm sorry, about 7 minutes. But see what you think.
Well,
But that's something too I'm very passionate about is film. And him and he went to school for it. He's very passionate about it. I am as well. But that's one thing I told God. I said, please let me just be in a film, just to not be the main actor, but just be some roles to have because I would love to experience that. I would love to just do that. And I'm just waiting for that little break. So
well, it's coming, my friend.
that's
Like I
right.
said, there's no accidents in this universe, and this interview is no accident by any means.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, you have my info. We will definitely talk, and
Sure.
you reach out to me anytime, and we're going to figure this out together.
Sounds good, Lester. I really appreciate you coming on Rhythm and Road, sharing your story. And that's why, guys, I do this because of Lester's story, so many stories that it just inspires so many people that are going through stuff even around this time too. And man, you give hope, man, just to think that you're at your point of death and here you're living life to the fullest. So that's awesome.
Well, nothing's promised for any of us, man.
That's right.
Every day we wake up is a gift.
Yeah.
And so we do what we can with it to inspire others and,
Yeah.
to give each other hope. And in the military, no man or no woman gets left behind.
That's
No one gets left on the battlefield. And that's how I look at life. And so I'm grateful for every opportunity. I'm thankful for every person in my life because the thing is, I learned something from everybody that I meet, and I learned something from every situation. And I'm afforded the opportunity to be able to grow and mature myself.
that's right.
So, the day we stop learning is the day we die. So
That, that's
if you
true.
stop learning before that and you're still here, I mean, you're not really giving anything back. So
That's right, man. Yeah, well said, Lester. Well said. Well, thank you guys for watching on this episode with our special guest, Lester G.Reynolds, actor and stuntman for Hollywood. So thank you, sir, for coming on Rhythm and Road, sharing your testimony, your story. Very incredible story. So thank you, sir.
thank you for having me.
No problem. All right, guys, catch you on the next episode.